HupoEntertainment.com presents Brand Sharks.
Chapter 10, Author Dalton Campbell. Title, From Personal Trainer to Top Producing Advisor.
Read by the co-author, Mike Duffy.
Hello, I'm Michael Duffy, author of Brand Sharks, Unstoppable Strategies from Industry Leaders. I'm reading Chapter 10, From Personal Trainer to Top Producing Advisor by Dalton Campbell. Please enjoy. It was midday at Gold's Gym in Charlottesville, Virginia, in the summer of 2016. I was looking at the personal training client list for the day and ensuring all sessions were paid. I was a fitness manager, and this was one of my daily tasks since I managed the personal training department. I noticed that one of the clients for the day had their card declined, so I made my way to the treadmill where she was warming up for her session with one of our trainers. "Hey, sorry to bother you," I said, "but your card did not go through. Did you want to try another one?" "There's no way," she said. "There is $100,000 on that card. It should go through." It was a debit card. So this mid-30s woman had 6 figures in her checking account. I reran the card and eventually the transaction went through. After her sessions, I asked if I could speak with her for a second. I told her I was making close to $30,000 a year and traveling 52 miles to and from work every day. I had graduated high school with a 4.3 GPA by working my butt off and taking AP classes, and finished college with a 3.6. What was she doing to have the income she had? Even more impressive, how did she have the freedom to work out in the middle of the day every day? She said she was a real estate agent and offered to get coffee to chat further about her career. We scheduled a coffee at a Starbucks nearby, and she asked me to bring my compensation plan with a notebook. We found a table right in the corner of the coffee shop. It smelled like they cleaned the place with Pike Place blend. Not like coffee. That's good. During the meeting, she proceeded to go through my comp plan and broke down the numbers. If I hit all my sales goals every month, I would never make more than $40,000 in a year. I told her I wanted to make 6 or 7 figures. I wanted to have the freedom that she did. She bluntly told me that I would have to quit being a personal trainer and go into a business role that allowed for flexibility with high income potential, such as real estate, insurance, financial services, medical sales, or something comparable. I felt a little sick understanding the risk I would need to take, but I also felt a sense of confirmation. Deep down, I knew I was in the wrong field. I had been contemplating quitting at the time anyway, because I had recently been chewed out for taking online training clients outside of Gold's and in my off time. There was a new general manager at my location, and she was a complete jerk. Her presence made me not want to come to work. One time, she cussed me out in front of members during prime time between 5 and 6 p.m. because I chose not to push a personal training program on a woman who was struggling financially. I had some money stashed away and I could quit and start something else, but the thought of doing it was a bit terrifying. I mulled her advice over the next couple of weeks until one day I got called into the general manager's office. She was sitting at her desk looking disgusted at me. "I discussed your side business with the owner. We're going to give you a $10,000 pay cut effective immediately." My vision went completely red. That was a tipping point. I responded, "I'm going to put in my 2 weeks." "Oh shit, I did it." The look on her face was priceless. She stared back at me with a mix of defeat and shock. I seemed almost like she had just been slapped into unconsciousness. I worked the next 2 weeks, and on my final drive out of the parking lot, I felt a sense of freedom that I had never felt before. I was hot and muggy, Virginia day in the middle of June. I rolled the window of my Subaru Crosstrek down and grinned from ear to ear the entire way home. I had no plan, but I didn't care. I knew I was about to stumble upon my calling. I could feel it. I would never be controlled by people like her again. My mind was made up, and I was ready to do whatever it took to ensure my new reality. Over the next couple of months, I spent some time training my online clients while exploring opportunities. I applied for sales positions I had heard paid well, but never heard back from anyone. I decided to apply to a local car dealership that had a great reputation, to my knowledge at least. I could sell better than anyone I knew. When I started at Gold's in May of 2015, I was mentored by my fitness manager at the time, Alonzo, a deep-voiced 6'6" black man who would rep out 400 pounds on the bench press after he finished his meetings. He made all his personal training sales for 3 Gold's locations. He was unstoppable. If someone sat down with him for a consult, they bought a package. For some reason, though, he never let me in one of his sessions to watch it. So when it was my time to do my first consult, I was clueless about what to say or do. I decided I would go through the PowerPoint we had to show, take the person's measurements, and just be myself. An hour later, I walked with the client to the front desk to schedule his first training session. There was a logbook for a new personal training package sales under the right-hand side of the check-in desk at the front of the gym. Chelsea, a tall, athletic blonde, sat at the front desk. I had met her a week earlier, but we had not interacted much since then. I had no idea at that time she would later become my wife. Chelsea asked, "Did he make a sale?" She asked in a way that felt like she was either surprised or weirdly proud. "Yeah, it wasn't much, $400 a month for now. But if he needs extra sessions here and there, we will add them. I think he will do fine as long as he learns in each session." 4,800, she asked. "Yes, for the year, but he's paying monthly. Looking forward to it. Nice guy." "Only Alonzo has made a sale like that. None of the other PTs have sold the package in months," she said. I played it off cool because I had hung out with Chelsea a few times, so I wanted to act like it was no big deal. But I just realized something. I could sell. I could sell really well. The consultation was natural, and then when it came to sell the PT package, personal training package, I knew I could add value for the client, so I confidently convinced him to purchase the plan. A few months later, Alonzo took a position at another gym, and I was asked to fill his spot. Of course, I took it. It came with a base salary, and I love selling PT packages. Little did I know that I would be asked to switch locations in 3 months, and 6 months after that, I would feel the same freeing feeling as I drove home on my last day. I am grateful for what God gave me. A wife, a skill set I never knew I possessed, mentors, and a base knowledge of how business and sales work. I was offered the position at the car dealership, and I went in to fill out all the paperwork. I was excited about a new opportunity. I was confident I would be their top sales rep in 6 months. That's just the way I am. A few days before I was supposed to sign the final paperwork, I attended an event, and a couple I had met a few months prior to a networking dinner approached me. "You still looking for a sales job, young man?" they asked. "Yes, I know, sir," I responded. "I am likely going to work at this car dealership, but I haven't signed the paperwork, so depending on what you have, I might be interested." "Don't sign that paperwork. I owned a dealership, and so did my father. Can you be in Charlottesville at 8 tomorrow morning?" He wrote down an address and said, "You need to speak to our hiring manager about this opportunity. You'll be perfect for this." He was persistent and unusually confident that I should take this opportunity seriously, and something inside told me he was right. I agreed to be in Charlottesville at 8 in the next morning. I arrived a little early at a nice office in Charlottesville and went upstairs to meet the manager at the time. He laid out the position of a financial services professional, which would over time morph into a full-blown financial advisor role. He told me that if I could follow systems and was competitive, I would make 80,000 my first year. Then he challenged me. I love when people do that. "I think you'd be a good fit for this, but first you have to get your license to sell life insurance and annuities. Since you're not licensed, I recommend studying, as this will take a month or so to get, then we can talk about the position further." For some reason, it felt right. I had always imagined myself having a professional position with a lot of responsibility. This career was something I could be uniquely good at. I could feel it. I decided to go for it. I called the car dealership and let them know I had changed my mind and tried something else instead. They had forgotten I was coming in, which confirmed my decision. The manager at Anchor Financial Group said it would take a month to get my license. Maybe for him. I ordered my materials and started studying. 5 days later, I took my exam. The following Monday, I called him up to let him know I'd finished my testing requirements. His surprised tone was gratifying. Finally, I was ready to begin my journey in financial services. Little did I know my life, as I knew it was about to change. At 23, being a new financial rep was hard. Nobody took me seriously. I had no natural market since I grew up in a small town, in a family where there were no entrepreneurs or socially connected people. But I knew one thing, though. I was going to figure out that business, and I would do it from the ground up. Whatever I needed to do, I was ready to go all in to do it. If I had to walk around Walmart for 12 hours a day handing out cards and begging for opportunities, I was all in. I should note that remember I remember anyone who has ever slighted me or done something that I perceive as a personal slight. To me, nothing provides a cleaner fuel for my engine than someone thinking they got one over on me. I would get up the next day to show them the truth and see the look on their faces when I got the upper hand in the end. Early on in my career, this trait fueled my drive to get up every day and call anyone I could think of to call. Once I had a meeting, Once I had a meeting with an optometrist at her home, and one of the first things she said, "How much money do you make?" "I will not work with an advisor that makes less than me." "Okay, so that's how this is going to be? Fine." I lost that opportunity. But today, I make 5 times as much as she did at the time, and if she ever wanted to work with me, I would consider it. That encounter and others like it fueled my desire to become elite. Another example came from my hiring manager. I had my best suit at the time on for picture day at our firm, a dark gray Stafford from Belka I had bought right off the rack. I love that suit, and I thought it looked good. Right before we were going to take the group picture, my manager leaned over and cracked a joke. "When are you going to stop shopping at J.C. Penney?" God was with him because only God could stop me from denting his face at that moment. I internalized his comment like any other slight and put it to work. One day I will have custom suits with my initials on the cufflinks. One day I will make his production look junior. I just need to stay in the fight and do anything I possibly can to get business. The local Chamber of Commerce was a key part of my early success as an advisor. I would go to every event they held, hoping for a chance to meet my next prospect. I would talk to everyone and collect business cards with the plan of calling them all the next day and asking to get coffee to connect further. I introduced myself at one of those events to a car dealership owner. No, not the one I had applied, same one I had applied to. He was loaded, no doubt about it. If I could somehow get a meeting with him, I could put my career on the map. I introduced myself and he completely cold shouldered me. I ran into him a few more times at other events, saying hi, nodding and smiled. Then the slight, some more fuel for my turbocharged engine. The dealer owner approached me at an event a few months after we first met, introduced himself. He shook my hand and told me his name, asking for mine as if we had never met. I felt invisible. One day he will know my name, I promised myself, and I'll consider conversing with him one day. I was very average during my first 6 months in the business. My production was not stellar at all. I was struggling to build my network, but it was slowly coming together. I had joined some networking organizations that met each week, and I still attended chamber events as often as they had them. I was robotic with calling and emailing people to get coffee or lunch. I got my first taste of what success in the industry feels like when we had a company-wide sales contest. The winner got to go to Indianapolis, where our parent company was headquartered. He would stay in the Hilton and go to the Colts versus Jaguars game, watching from our company suite at Lucas Oil Stadium. I wanted to make that trip more than anything. For the entire contest, I looked at every other advisor's production numbers and woke up every day on a mission to kick their asses. Sure enough, after a grueling month or two, the contest ended and I was on top. Chelsea and I would get to ball out like top producers for the weekend at Indy. When we arrived and checked into the hotel, I was treated like I was the number one producer in the entire company of close to 1,000 producers. We went to Harry and Izzy's for dinner, and the tab had to have been thousands. Part of me was proud having this experience with my new life, but part of me was experiencing dopamine overload. I was hooked. That would be my experience from then on. Any contest, any award I wanted, and I was going to have it. Sunday came and we walked into Lucas Oil Stadium, making our way up to the suite. Inside the suite, there was a food bar with all-you-could-eat cuisine of all varieties. Burgers, Mexican food, pizza, dessert, soda, beer. Chelsea and I looked out the window and watched the players warming up down the field. "That's Adam Vinatieri," as I said as he booted a 60-yarder off a tee. We took some pictures with the field in the background, and before long, it was game time. At halftime, some marshals came up and escorted us down the field. We got to watch the second half kickoff from right beside the cheerleaders. It was insane to me. I was addicted to the feeling. I wanted experiences like that. I had felt what true success was like, and I wanted it to be my experience from then on. After the trip, I won another contest and I got to go to a baseball game in Washington. I also made a couple more trips to Indy to attend some invite only conferences. I started to settle in and enjoy the ride, but I still needed to focus on production over anything because I was still new. I needed to form a brand for myself or a turnkey strategy to get new prospects and clients that were different from my peers. If I wanted the train to keep moving, I needed to figure something out. I grinded like hell my first year, but by the end of it, I had made 124,000. All I could think about was when I was hired and my manager telling me I would make 80,000. Maybe I'll take some of that extra 44,000 and buy a real suit, or maybe I'll just let my numbers do the talking. I was going to brand my If I was going to brand myself uniquely, I needed to know who I was truly was and what qualities I wanted to make marketable that clients would find valuable. I needed an image and I needed a niche. When forming my image, I wanted to be genuinely myself, but I also wanted to advertise something valuable to a prospective client in my target market. Your image, brand, and niche must fit together. So, first, I looked at who my ideal client was. Then, I thought about what type of messaging and advertising they would respond to. As an advisor, I enjoy focusing on tax minimum, tax minimization, and retirement strategies. Okay. As an advisor, I enjoy focusing on tax minimization and retirement strategies. I like a puzzle. I like consulting. During my first year or two, one market I had done well in the business was real estate because real estate professionals are typically self-employed, which potentially exposes them to excess tax liability. They understand and would appreciate the brand I was creating. They understand the value of word of mouth marketing and referrals. There are also hundreds of thousands of them, and their contact info is a Google search away. Yes, I would focus on realtors, and I would start to brand myself as a financial advisor for realtors. If I was a six-figure earning white-collar realtor, what attributes would I look for in an advisor? If 100 advisors approached me and I had to choose one, what combination of attributes would separate them from the other 99? Personally, I would look for someone who's clean cut and well put together. A fit physique shows me that the person values their health and exercise. They don't let work and business create a sloppy lifestyle with no balance. Fit people also tend to be more confident and can perform tasks with less expenditure. Also valuable. This advisor would also be sharp and intelligent, but not socially awkward or just simply book smart. They would have a relatable personality and handle the intense analytics of a detailed financial plan. This advisor would be competitive and disciplined. I want someone who wants to win because they will help me win along with them. They would have structure and consistency in their life. Having structure allows for extreme productivity, and I want people who work with me to be as productive as possible. I have all these attributes. Now I have to show them off in a non boastful way that comes across as encouraging and humbling while remaining confident. Here is what I began to do, and to this day continue to do, to reinforce this image. If you want to understand what makes top producers successful, try this for yourself. Get up early. Every morning. I get up at 4. I want to get up and I want the world to know I am up. 99% of my competition is still asleep, so I'm getting ground first thing in the morning. My clients know I am up, and that person handling their finances is the head of the pack. Make it known that you arrived at the fight. I make a Facebook post saying, "Good morning," and then some motivational, humble, encourage additive like "blessed for another 24." How you use it is up to you. Play to win today. Let's go. Organically post your day-to-day life on social media 4 to 5 times a week. I will post an image of myself with a longer post that relates to people or a Facebook Live so that people can see me during my day. A real person who's just like them, but who wants to win and wants those around him to win. Show your skills. What makes you better? At times, I will post something that shows off my analytical abilities, such as mathematical breakdown of some business, finance, fitness, or financial activity. Focus on an image that you will reinforce daily. All the content I post drives the image I want people to see and trust. This is who I am, though. It is all from the heart. What I feel like posting that day, I post. Add value to others in your network. Another way to create a reputation for yourself locally is to connect with other business people in your community with no strings attached. I have had thousands of coffee meetings just to pour value into the person in front of me. If they become a client, great. If not, then what else can I do to improve their life? People remember those who selflessly took the time to hear them. I get introductions and opportunities all the time because I did things for free. It is the right thing to do. It is the human thing to do. What goes around comes around. Commit to playing the game for life. There is no end. I want to win. I want to be number one, and I will continue to push until I get to the top, and then I will push even harder to help others do the same. I want all those who ever doubted me to eat their words for the rest of their lives. Most importantly, though, I want to die one day, having given this life every ounce of what I had to do to become the best possible version of me that I could. I'm not going to repeat that. Most importantly, though, I want to die one day having given this life every ounce of what I had to do to become the best possible version of me that I could. I believe that when you focus on something and devote your entire being to get it, there's virtually nothing outside of an act of God stopping you. The man who forgot he met me at the chamber events knows my name now. I see him every week at the country club we both belong to. My suits, custom. My last 3 suits were $1,500 a piece. My shirts have my initials on the cuffs. I have over $250,000 in the bank, and if I wanted to, could work out at noon every day. I'm a featured speaker now with our broker-dealer at our national event in Marco Island, Florida. Am I there yet? Far from it. I am not number one in the company. To me, winning is number one. If you aren't number one, you did not win. Plain and simple. I still wake up in a panic that I'm running out of time. The day I become number one is the day I must keep it, because if I lose number one, I just go back to losing. Successful people do not stop. There is no end. The freedom that success has given me and has given other successful people is something that we never want to lose. To reach your fullest potential, you must accept that you've committed to a game that never ends, because for it to end would mean going back to life you lived before you found your calling. What you say matters. How you act matters. Forever, this will be the case. Your brand is who you commit to being publicly and privately for the rest of your life. This is why your brand must genuinely be you. The person I became in that moment in Starbucks when I realized I had a bigger calling is the real me. I had broken free from the version of me that schooling and college and a middle-class upbringing had designed. I don't ever want to go back. About Dalton is at the back. And that was chapter 9. Chapter 10. Sorry, that was chapter 10. I'll have to edit this. That was chapter 10. Thank you. I'm Mike Duffy. I'm the author of Brand Sharks, Unstoppable Strategies from Industry Leaders. I just read you chapter 10. If you want your own copy of this book, go to brandsharksbook.com. You're ordering directly from the author. I will autograph that copy of your book and send it anywhere around in the world to you. I will send it anywhere in the world to you. Just go buy it from brandsharksbook.com and support the authors. Thank you.
Follow Dalton Campbell on his website, thedaltoncampbell.com. It's spelled like this: TheDaltonCampbell.com.